Welcome back to another episode, folks. The All-Star break for the MLB is wrapping up. We are in the lull of sports where we're going to hit the trade deadline for baseball. We're getting ready for college football. We're seeing what's going on in the NBA, and NFL preseason is right around the corner. This is another episode of your favorite podcast, Box Scores and Bourbon.
Look at the box scores.
Box Scores
and Bourbon.
We check each other's box scores and scores online.
Baseball, box scores.
So football, baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey.
Box Scores and Bourbon.
Folks, as we approach the middle of summer, the high tide of heat, and people complaining about the giant ball of gas in the sky, all I can think about is springtime. You know why? Because I'm a sports fan. And sports fans, they understand that springtime isn't in April. Springtime begins in the middle of June and ends at the end of July. What do I mean by this? Well, in the middle of June, we see the NBA draft. We see the NHL draft. The beginning of July, we have the Home Run Derby, the All-Star Game. MLB is at their break, at their halfway point. We have college football media days happening this week. And at the end of July, next week, everybody, almost all of the players on every NFL football team are going to be reporting to camp, veteran and rookie alike. Unless your name is Aaron Rodgers, then I guess you'll show up when your springtime comes. But that's what I mean, folks. It's springtime. It's time to relish and just be excited about the future your team holds. You could be the New York Yankees and say, yes, this time Aaron Boone will figure it out and we won't collapse. Or you could be the Orlando Magic and say, this time we are going to do something. And you can be any NHL team that never makes the playoffs and say, no, this year, the Blackhawks, they will do something special. It doesn't matter what creed, race, whatever you come from. It's sports season. It's springtime. It's renewal. So, folks, I say, let's just raise a glass. Let's just enjoy this moment where we can sit there and say, you know what? I believe in my team, even though my team has no quarterback or my team is selling at the deadline because we have nobody or just because, we're Oakland. So raise your glass, folks. Enjoy the renewal of sports season, and let's have a good time going all the way through October. Manny, we are together in the same place at once. If anyone's watching this, trying to figure it out, I keep looking sideways because he's right next to me.
Right there. Cheers,
yeah.
Cheers to another episode.
Cheers.
Cheers. We are drinking today a bottle of Wolcott. We are both drinking the same thing. It is a distilled by Barton's 1792 90 proof. What is your first sip taste like, JB?
I wish it was stronger.
A little bit. You're lacking a little bit of smack you in the face taste to it.
Yeah,
it is very. I guess smooth is overstatement. It's missing something a little bit, like a little bitter side to it.
It's missing a cigar is what it's missing.
It's very neat.
Can't have my cigar right now. It's not cool. And for everyone listening, that's not my man. No, Manny's not telling me I can't.
No, by no means.
Yeah, dude. Let's
jump right in.
Let's jump right in.
The MLB All-Star break officially ends today.
Oh yeah, and it's sad because there's no baseball today.
There is no baseball today.
Usually, I'm used to MLB screwing the Cubs hard. It seems every year we come out of the All-Star break, the Cubs and Cardinals always play after the All-Star break. They don't this year. They play the Diamondbacks tomorrow. But I remember coming out 2-3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago after the All-Star break, The Cubs and the Cardinals, the only team that played on Thursday. They played Friday. They played a doubleheader on Saturday, and they played again on Sunday.
Jesus.
So they played 5 games in 4 days
Welcome
after
back.
having a week off.
I wonder how
And
many
I'm
of
like,
those.
holy crap, what is going on? And I think that may have been also the year where the Cubs signed Craig Kimbrell, and he was just absolute disaster area. He was a walking hazmat suit that was covered in, I don't know, polio or whatever, polio lice. You just didn't touch him. He was just so bad. But baseball starts a full slate tomorrow. I love it. I'm excited about it.
So I get the feeling that you had a little bit of personal connection with your opening monologue when it came to your team was about to be selling. I feel like there's a little bit of a personal touch to that comment.
Maybe before last week happened, and the Cubs came within one just unfortunate inning of being 6-1, and really just two innings of being 7-0. That road trip of that whole road trip. They finished in 5-2. I felt really good going into the All-Star break. This team's not built to sell. It's just not. They don't. I don't know who we're gonna sell. Like we have
But you
pieces.
can sell everybody.
I mean, you can, but the market's not going to dictate you selling these people. And you got no trade clauses, and you got Cody Bellinger out there who's hitting mid. And if you trade him, and he's so bad the rest of the year, well, guess what? The rest of his 2-year, $55 million is guaranteed. Like what team is going to do that? And why would the Cubs want to sell low on the guy where they're hoping they brought him back in to be able to go high, and to eventually the Cubs didn't sign Bellinger to 3 1-year contracts, which is essentially what it is, to 3 1-year contracts, in thinking that he'll be with us the whole time. No, even if Bellinger stays mid, he will go back out there. He will get his money in the offseason. But if he stays in mid and the Cubs trade him, what do they get for him? Nothing.
Well,
You have a better chance of being able to figure, okay, what can this team do?
sometimes it's worth just dumping as a player for their stuff.
No, it's not.
Sometimes.
I mean, okay, yeah, sometimes it is.
One of those times where they just dump them just because.
I don't think so.
Because maybe they figured we're gonna lose them this year, we're gonna lose them next year. Might as well dump them and not keep losing money on somebody that we plan on not keeping either way.
Well, no, because it's just like what I said last week on the pod was that at some point I get they're 48 and 51. They're 3 games under 500. I get it. And like you get this like, okay, maybe we can sell. It'd be nice to like I'm just talking about renewal, but there's only so much renewal you can take. All right, that's why people stop having kids. All right, I'm at enough of smelling the baby's hair. Okay, when are you 18? Like at some point you need to mature. You need to have an organization that's willing to take these risks. And the Cubs are 3.5 out of the last wild card. Yeah, they got 5 teams ahead of them. They have the 4th easiest schedule in the second half of the National League. Again, 3 of those teams that have the easier than the Cubs are of those 6 teams that are ahead of them in the wild card. And then I get that it seems insurmountable to pass those teams, even though you're 3.5 games out. But at some point, I mean, if you went into this season building a team to win, and they're underperforming, but that week before the All-Star break, that whole team was coming together. It was coming together.
So if you had to, how did you go into the All-Star break from your Cubs perspective?
I went at the All-Star break hopeful that they would buy.
Okay.
And that they would be legitimate buyers.
Well, hopeful is a good way to feel going into All-Star break.
It is a good way to feel.
Who wasn't feeling hopeful out going into the All-Star break?
I know.
I'll tie my name to that description because, there was a moment where I think we won 2 of the games against the Orioles. We were about to sweep the last game.
We were about to, and
then it didn't happen. And my whole world came crushing down. And it sucked in the way that it happened. Watching the outfielder trip over his own foot.
Was that Trent Grisham?
I can't remember who it was. At that point I didn't care who it was.
was
I tied that single moment just to the entire team, and I just said the Yankees as a whole suck because of that one play. It was bottom of the ninth, 2 outs,
Yeah.
2 guys on, and
Mhm.
a trip hazard caused them
Yep.
to lose the game. So imagine how Yankees fans and myself felt going into the All-Star break when you thought you were doing something. You thought you were figuring something out.
Well, it's funny because they're 58-40 right now. I think they entered June last month with 52 wins. So if my math is correct, they've only won 6 games
True.
the last month.
That is true. So there's not much to hang your hat on. But
I don't think it's 6. It's not a lot though.
I've always said that I want to see how the Yankees hold up against their division. And they were in that
Yeah.
moment, they seemed like they were going to be able to compete against the Orioles.
Yeah.
Now I'm not
Well,
they can't get out of their own way.
shout out! I'm going to give a shout out to our listener Lucy, but she's a diehard Yankee
Oh,
fan.
Lucy, hell yeah.
And she's against my better judgment. I still talk to her.
You still talk to me.
It's like all these red flags. We still have a podcast together, but we have one thing in common, and it's not the fact that she wants to get rid of Juan Soto. I don't understand.
Whoa.
I don't even understand
What?
where that woman's coming
Take back
from.
my Go Lucy comment.
I don't understand where that woman's coming from. But we have stood in solidarity, and that Aaron Boone has had to go since last.
Oh yeah, he's an idiot.
Aaron Boone is he is the Dave Roberts of the regular season. So, and what I mean by that is Aaron Boone is so well equipped for the first. Aaron Boone treats the second half of the baseball season as if it's Dave Roberts in the playoffs. So, like, you can get so hot, and then all of a sudden you forget that wins matter, and that you should probably take care of
And the
business
season's
every
not
day.
over at half point.
Yeah, it's not over. Like you just because you won the NL West, Dave, doesn't mean the season's over. Aaron, just because you were in first place at the beginning of June, great. Okay, we have 4 months left. What? And there's a thing called Baltimore behind you,
Or in front of you at this point.
yeah, and yeah, but it's like just like, and this dude is so incompetent at his job.
You know what I hate about him? I agree with you. I don't like him as a manager. I hate how scared he is. There's this. I've told you about this guy that I follow. His name is John Boy, and he has a weekly interview with him. And every time John Boy puts him on the spot and asks him about rotations, asks him about trades, asks him about what the hell's going on with this team, and he is so afraid to answer with any direct backbone of what he wants to do with his team. He's like, "Oh well, I want." They asked him why wouldn't I can't remember. It was like, why don't you put Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, and then one of your other guys third in line? Like, well, I like them leading off, but I don't know who I would put there. Like, it was a whole lot of beating around the bush just to say that I don't know what I want to do. It's just his entire stance is always just very timid, and I think it connects to him having to be under Cashman's thumb because when it's similar to the Cowboys and the coach for the Cowboys always having to be looking up at Jerry Jones, the GM. Like, you can't operate well whenever somebody's looking at you. With that. So I think that's where that's not a justification for him.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, but that was part of. I bring it up because Aaron Boone was on the list of managers on the hot seat, and so is Dave Roberts, and for good reason.
Should be,
as much as people laud Dave Roberts for his ability to get to have the Dodgers win the division every year with no starting pitching whatsoever, because May happens and everyone's hurt. It's comical, and it's almost a feat in its own that you can be this good and still be that bad in the playoffs.
That's true.
It is, and I used to always think, oh, look, the Dodgers, look, hey, they had an even better 40-game stretch this year. This is what's going to turn the leaf over in the playoffs. No, it's not. oh, look, they deferred $1 billion down the road until the aliens come down and we all live on Mars because the aliens took over and Wally's president. Like, no, it's like nothing. Like, I can't. There is nothing the Dodgers can do. There's nothing Dave Roberts can do in the regular season that's going to change my mind that the Dodgers are going to do anything in the playoffs. And just like Aaron Boone, there's nothing Aaron Boone can do in the regular
No, for
season
sure.
that's going to make me think, oh, they've turned a page. The Yankees are going to be a threat. It's just not going to happen.
Not until they make the playoffs in a good seed, not clawing their way into the wild card and then actually
Yeah.
win the series.
Yeah.
Most likely against Houston, because
Mhm.
that has been like the trend for the last 5 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
They faced Houston, they can't win a game against Houston for the most part. Until that happens, then we'll be able to say, okay, you know what you're doing. But I don't
Yeah.
see it. I'm not trying
not-
to look disheartened here because there are
Yeah.
rumors and
Yeah.
words circulating that they're going to try making some trades to bring in some guys.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be like, oh, this is the end of the season. Oh my god, I'm in such distress. But it doesn't look too good.
I mean, not until Houston gets those plastic trash cans that the rest of us have.
I'm not saying, but I'm just saying that's the only way they beat it.
I got those Oscar the Grouch trash cans.
The only year the Houston Astros couldn't cheat against the Yankees was the year that the Yankees didn't make the playoffs. That's always a good sign.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's I'm going into the second half and I'm looking at a lot of teams and I honestly feel like there's more of an opportunity for people to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you asked me earlier how I felt as a Cubs fan, what my vibes were or what I felt the vibes could be, I thought, hey, buyers. But there's not a lot of sellers out there. And the prices are going to be exorbitant.
It's always going to be getting worse.
I mean, it's always a really high price, but when you look at some of the names on the market right now that are going to be available for trade, these players have control beyond this year.
Yeah.
And now that the market seems really shallow right now, I'm wondering if a team like the Cubs says, "Hey, we are going to buy." I wonder if they're going to do that. Seattle, if they're going to be Jerry DePoto, if they're going to sit there and trade their all-star closer and bring in a closer to say, "Hey, it's all good, it's fine, everything's all right."
We just upgraded.
I wonder if the Cubs would take advantage of that because, and there's been one name that's been floated as a potential trade piece or trade chip for the Cubs, and that's Nico Horner. Nico Horner is going to be a future All-Star in this league. He has had very little time in AAA. They called him up at the end of 2019 for the 2019 for the playoff run. He's been playing. He hasn't really had seen time at AAA. Starting to heat up at the plate a little bit. He plays Gold Glove defense at second base. Now, the reason I bring him up is because the Cubs also have a quote-unquote third baseman named Christopher Morel, one of the most beloved guys in the organization, probably in all of baseball. Before the season started, they always taught that the word was his best defensive position, where he fits like a glove, pun intended, is second base. But the Cubs already had a Gold Glove second baseman, Nico Horner. And Morel is floundering at third. It's so bad that you have to put Miles Mastrobuoni at third base. And yeah, he flashes the leather, but the dude can't hit his way out of a paper bag. I mean, I get he's got good power metrics. I don't even know what that means. Willie Mays Hayes had good hitting metrics, and he never got past first. So, what intrigues me is his name keeps being floated about along with Jameson Taillon, and if you trade Taillon, that makes more sense because he's an older vet. He's pitching out of his mind right now. His last 34 starts, he's got a mid-3 ERA. He's got I think just under 200 innings pitched. He's pitching almost lights out baseball. over the course of the last calendar year. And so I can see you trade him because you got Wicks, you got Assad, you got Ben Brown, you got Cade Horton. You're trying to bring all these guys up, and I get it. That makes sense. But trading Nico Horner is not just about trading Nico to be able to kind of, bring pieces in, but it's also about the domino effect. Because you trade Nico, you can put Morel at second. You can put Michael Bush, who has turned heads at first base. That dude he has learned on the fly to play first. You can put Michael Bush at third. You can move Bellinger to first base. You can keep Pete Crow Armstrong in center field. You can allow him to develop more. And then when Talkman comes back, there's your fourth outfielder. I feel like there's a lot to gain if the Cubs could trade Nico Horner.
Maybe.
Because no one's going to – I wouldn't trade Morel right now, not because I'm a fan of his, but because if he traded, you're going to get nothing for him. And the dude's he's going to be a special hitter. But I look at these teams like the Reds. I look at these teams like the Pirates. I look at these teams like the Detroit Tigers. Like they had these expectations. And Tariq Skubal, who absolutely could be the Cy Young winner for the AL this year, he's on the trade market. And I'm thinking, who's going to go get him? Who out there needs pitching other than the Dodgers? That's going to go out there and get him. And I would love for Baltimore to go get.
Quit talking about Baltimore like we care about them.
I just want to see Baltimore do something.
Well, what do you mean?
They didn't do anything in the offseason. They went and got Corbin Burns, which is great. And it was just one of those trades where the Brewers are probably going to turn out to be, fleecing you.
Yeah, but the Orioles are all about internal, like they're like the perfect corporation, internal promotions. That's all they do. They have the great farm system.
I'm curious. The reason I'm most curious is because, and I mentioned it on the pod last week, Jackson Holiday is sputtering in AAA right now. Like it's not good. And so I wonder if the Orioles are like, hey, we can get Tariq Skubal with his Cy Young caliber stuff and the years of control he has. I wonder. Talk about something. I want to look to see how much more Tariq Skubal has on his contract. That's what I want to look.
Okay.
Yeah. But who are you looking at?
As far as what?
For trade deadline.
I mean, I don't look at the trade deadline with a big eye. I'm ashamed to say that I very much focus on what the Yankees are doing and strictly stick to what they're going to do. Their hitting has been all right. I think their what needs work on their hitting side is just their lineup and the way their rotation on that side. I feel like their depth on their rotation pitchers is something that they need to work on. I think that is what's caused them to lose a lot of games, because a lot of the games that they've lost in this awful 2-month period that they've had has been with leads, and then they just blow the leads. So I just want them to pick up a good rotation kind of pitcher that can be a solid sub in once the starter goes out, or maybe they just need a starter that can go 8 innings and they just have a solid closer. So that's along the line of what I want to look at for the Yankees.
Yeah. So I'm looking at Tariq Skubal. He is an unrestricted free agent in the year 2027. He still has 2.5 years of team control. Now you're telling me, if you're the Baltimore Orioles, you're set up to win now with Adley and Gunnar. You're not going to even consider trading your prize prospect for a guy who has proven he can do it in the big leagues and has proven at a pretty high level that he can do it in the big leagues. He's only, what is he? He's 27 years old. He is just now hitting his prime. He's only been pitching for full season wise 3 years. If I'm Mike Elias and Detroit comes to me, I think is it Al Avila who's still running the Tigers? I don't know who it is. But if the Tigers come to me and say, Mike, we'll trade you Tariq Skubal straight up for Jackson Holiday, would you do it? It'll be a little hard pill to swallow, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Absolutely.
That's fair. I mean, I just don't want the Baltimore Orioles to get any better. That's my thing. That's simply.
There's something special about Camden in October, though,
I
man.
don't care.
My
My favoritism gets in the way of seeing overall success and great excitement in the playoffs. I don't.
It's not their fault that Aaron Boone is awful at his
No,
job.
well, it's not even fair for me to hate on them because they've only been good for like a year and a half. It's not even something that's like I'm so tired of losing to the Orioles. No, they won the division last year, and that's about all they've done. But here I am hating on them, similar to how I, for no reason, don't want the Lions to have success. The Detroit Lions in the NFL to have success because no good reason. It's just one of those things. If you see a team that you've seen be par or below what your team does, and you see them get successful, do you really feel good about them?
Look, I've been a Cubs fan my entire life. I have seen the Milwaukee Brewers be subpar on every level, yet they never stop winning.
They always win the division.
And it is disheartening.
Exactly. So you get it.
Yeah, I do get it. I understand. But through and through, I'm a baseball fan. Like if my team, like I'm of the thought that if you go out there and lose as often as you do and as bad as you do, it's not that you're a bad team. You just don't want to win. I mean, that's fair. Like, especially the way the Cubs are built, or the way that the Mariners are built. If you're going to lose, and you're not going to sit there and take advantage, at some point, I'm going to think, how much do you actually want to win? How much are you just out there just like, oh, I'm at work today? Because you got to think about it. Like, I go to work every day. I'm not sitting there saying, oh, I'm going to kill it today. No, I'm at work. But again, I'm not playing a kid's game either. I'm not out there getting to swing a stick at a ball and get my uniform dirty. I would love to do that.
That would be fun.
No, I got to hit control all week because the freaking website's not working right. It's hard for me to think that they're like, oh, we're trying real hard.
Oh no, I don't buy that. That's across the board. Every league they say that.
They're going out there. They're giving it all they got.
Yeah, they have to.
I'm watching.
They have to say that. You know that. I know you're not in denial. They have to say that. But they know that we know that it's not true. It's not a secret that we know when teams are not trying.
You know that I know that you know you're not telling the truth.
Exactly.
Like it's infuriating because as a sports fan, I'm just like you. I don't
You
know
want
why
the whole
like
league to be competitive. I get it.
And look,
I do too.
I get
do
it.
too.
You're trying to sit there and say, oh well, look. It's almost as if like those lies are saying like the buck stops with me, but nothing's changing. Like everyone's staying. In
I'm
place.
not losing my job.
Yeah, I'm not leaving. It's not my fault that I did a crap job putting this thing together. But I look at teams like even the Marlins. I look at the Marlins and Skip Schumacher is probably going to be fired.
Probably.
But
They're awful.
I have a good feeling that this dude's probably going to be a pretty decent manager. He's just the manager of the Marlins.
At the wrong time, probably.
It's always the wrong time.
Well, no, I'm saying for his
unless you're Jim Lee.
for his personal moment in time, it's the wrong time for him to be a manager.
The only time it's a good time to be the Marlins manager is if you're Jim Leland. Like that's the only time it's a good time. I think about I go back to the Yankees. Just saw that report about Skip Schumacher on the hot seat, and it wasn't. He's not on the hot seat because he's a bad man. He's on the hot seat just because like Martin's like, F it. Let's just see what we can do. They got nobody. They're gonna trade everybody. So why would you keep a guy who you know can be good and you can just like, oh, let's just start over.
Yeah.
I look at a guy like Skip Schumacher. I'm like, I wonder how he would be with the Yankees. because
That's
that
a thought.
dude's not scared.
No,
He's not scared. Have you seen his forearms?
no, I don't walk around looking at guys.
They're bigger than Aaron Boone's conscience. Like
Well, the bar's very low.
they're bigger than his convictions. And so
Again,
I just
low bar.
my forearms are bigger than Aaron Boone's convictions.
That's exactly right.
I just it's but I look at a guy like Skip and I think why not? Why not Skip be the manager?
Are
of the
you
Yankees?
looking forward to the Yankees getting better? Is this what I'm hearing right now?
I feel like the world is better when the Yankees.
Well,
are
baseball
good.
for sure is.
The world is better.
Okay.
New York would suck less.
That's true. Yankees
I would
make
think
everything
so.
better.
I don't know. New York sucks anyway. But if the Yankees are better, man, I mean, that just makes the baseball world better.
That's true. No, it is. Baseball is always better whenever the Yankees are better. That is true.
I was like, what?
Anyways, how did you feel about the All-Star game?
American League One. I like that the All-Star game is honest because now it doesn't mean anything.
It's just a show.
It's just a
That's
game.
fair.
We can honestly just like get rid of the All-Star game altogether.
No.
Make a skills competition.
Yeah, that's fair.
Bring that in.
But-
I want to see. I want to see Paul Skeens. Like I want to see a home run derby where Paul Skeens is throwing
All
to you.
pitchers. All pitchers.
Yes, that's what I want to see. I want to see a home run derby where you are cycling through all the All-Star game pitches on both sides, and you're still doing the lineup thing with both sides.
You know what?
That's what I want to see.
That sounds good in theory, but then you know that all the good pitchers will be like, I'm not signing up to throw 400 pitches in a day for no reason. Let's be honest.
fun.
Let's come on.
Fun.
You know that.
Well, they make it spring training then. I just like the game means nothing. It means nothing.
Does it?
Nothing is gained from it. The only thing that's gained from it is that
Are you referring to the MLB All-Star game?
MLB
Okay.
All-Star game. Yeah. No one watches the NFL.
Well, that's
I mean,
what
I watch the NFL Pro Bowl now because now it's beach volleyball again, essentially. Like I liked it when it was beach volleyball. And then Curtis Martin blew out his knee. It ruined it for everybody.
You stole my follow-up question. I was going to ask you, out of all the All-Star games, which one do you think has the right mindset, or which one so far is there?
Oh, NFL.
Really?
Out of all the things NFL gets wrong, this is the one thing that
As
NFL
of
gets
like
wrong.
what, this year? You mean? Because this is the first year they have all the skills and
Yeah, because they changed it, and
none
then
of the-
like no one's playing, and it's like, well, no one's playing, you don't get anything, and it's like, oh, you're a multimillionaire. How about I give you $1 if you win? Like, I don't what. Oh, I'll give you a trip to Hawaii. I was going there anyway, Roger. Like what? Like that's where I have a off-season condo there. Like I feel like NFL does it right.
Well, my thing is from the All-Star game perspective, or the All-Star weekend, I do like the MLBs over the rest of them because I feel like it's the one sport where you can actually put an effort without you running as high of a risk to get hurt. Because nobody wants to beat up their body in the NFL. The NBA, I don't know why they don't try it. I just don't think they care.
Yeah.
The MLB, like you're swinging a bat once every what, half hour, 45 minutes, whatever you want to.
Okay. I don't know why you got to be so
Dis-
mean.
dis-
MLB
dis-
baseball players.
demeaning to ba-
Why do you have to diss them so much?
Well, my point is, you go to at bat,
Take your 30-minute break.
but they put it. My point is, even though that came across a step, they put in effort while they're on the field because they don't have that high of a risk to get hurt. Sure, the pitchers always run
It's
around.
baseball. I mean, like the risk is only there if you're in part of the play, or you're punching a wall because you suck at relief. Like
Calling the Cubs pitcher that broke his wrist on the. Sorry, not to bring up old memories.
he wasn't the only one that did it too. Like
He was the most recent one.
many of them did it. One of them broke their foot.
The point being that you don't run as high of a risk to get hurt during the All-Star game, so it's easy for you to go all out. Which
It is, but like my point is that this is an opportunity for everyone. Okay, Here's where I stand with this. Either make it a skills competition.
But what skills? Just batting?
Oh, batting, fielding. Like make it a 5-tool player.
I can't
competition.
imagine anything but batting being exciting as far as skills go.
Oh man, watching like
What are you
I
gonna
would
do?
love.
Field double plays?
I would love to see Fernando Tatis out in center field making just baller plays against other center fielders. Like watching like a first baseman scoop competition.
It would
That'd be awesome.
quickly turn into spring training because that's all they do. Let's teach.
Well,
let's
no, I'm
practice
just
how to.
saying that- Okay, listen. If you're gonna make it the All-Star game, and I said this last week, if you're gonna make it the All-Star game, stop having representation from every team. I want the best of the best.
That's fair.
I don't want Martin Maldonado
They didn't have anything against your take last week.
getting elected to the All-Star game because the fans voted them in. Screw the fans. All right.
Whoa. You had me and then you lost me.
And what I'm saying, okay, I'm not going to apologize for that because I meant it. When I say screw the fans, I mean the milk toast, the lukewarm one.
The ones that are like voting just because
It wasn't just voting because it's like, ooh, America's Got Talent ended last night, and I have an itchy voting finger. Like, no, I
don't think that's ever how that happens.
It's probably, I don't know, most of the women I watch. Look, I just, like anyone who watches The Voice or America's Got Talent, whatever. Okay?
Oh, look, it gave me the little Google recommendation vote link.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look. Oh, text message rates don't apply? All right, yeah, I'll vote 10 times for this guy because I like his button pants. Like, I want you, like, I want Major League Baseball to say, all right, listen, we can vote MLB All-Stars. Okay, the fans can do that. After that, the managers, like if it was Bruce Bochy and Terry Lavulo saying, okay, the fans voted all the All-Stars in, that's great. Okay, whatever. Now it's our turn to pick the players that we believe can help us win the All-Star game.
Well, that's what.
I'm tired of the American League winning every year. Like I just stopped watching.
At least this one wasn't like 15-8.
The moment Aaron Durant hit that 2-run homer, I'm like, well, okay, the All-Star game should have been 5 innings because nothing happened after that.
Hey, Shohei Ohtani hit a home run. That's always breaking news. Don't. The NBA, I was gonna say, the NBA does it right because they take.
The only crippled man that we celebrate in baseball.
Well, he's not crippled.
Good Lord.
He's not crippled.
He's only got one-way polio.
He's about to. Don't sit here and bash him. He's about to be the.
He's the only man who's got one-way polio.
He's about to be the DH that wins MVP, which by itself you have to respect the man just for that fact. You know he's gonna do it. Can we sit here?
I respect the heck out of the man.
Can we sit here and agree that he's probably going to win MVP?
We won't agree on that, but I can tell you, it's not a hard disagree.
It's a soft to like lukewarm agree.
It's a soft.
It's a lukewarm agreeing. I'll be optimistic. I'll take it with glass half full side. It's glass half full is we lukewarm agree that he's probably going to win MVP. Got it. Perfect. Did you like Skis watching him pitch? I missed out on watching him pitch to Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
The AL MVP.
Yeah.
Up and coming MVP.
Up and coming.
What do you want?
Not if Gunnar Henderson gets there first.
I don't. Do we have to go over Aaron Judge's stats? He is average. He is about.
No, but he also plays for the most incompetent man in baseball.
That should give him that alone should give him the extra vote. He's like your manager doesn't know how to manage you, and you're about to win a triple crown. That should give him the MVP by itself.
No, I didn't get a chance. I watched the highlights of it. I was at a family movie night with my kids and the wife, and
no, I don't know if you track this. Skeens never pitched to Aaron Judge.
No, he didn't.
Right, okay.
No, he pitched to. It was Steve. No, he did pitch to Judge.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he pitched to 4 batters. He pitched to Quan, which was I think a strikeout. He pitched to Gunnar Henderson, which was a pop up. He pitched to Soto, and of course Soto walked because he's got 1,000 OPB.
That man knows how to walk.
And then he's always on base.
We should have signed that guy up for a walkathon because that guy knows how to walk.
Yeah. My sponsor is Juan Soto. What's your Make-A-Wish cancer kid? Juan Soto doesn't get on base. And that's an Oriole fan. And then Aaron Judge.
Did I miss Aaron Judge going up?
He fished to 4 batters because we thought it was going to be Gunny, Soto, and Judge.
They changed the rotation last minute.
But Bochy decided, well, Stephen Kwan's an on-base machine.
Right.
I guess because he forgot Soto was on the team. And so he put Kwan, Gunny, Soto, and Judge. So Skeens pitched to 4 batters, and Judge was the last one.
Why do they set out to win the All-Stars game so hard?
Why wouldn't you try?
Why do you care?
You're a competitor.
Well, it's the All-Star game. You know damn well you put Skeens in there as a starting pitcher because of the viewership, not because you actually thought if you're going to pitch the 4 batters.
The answer to that is yes. The answer is yes. No.
In the moment
The
against
answer is
batters.
threefold because Skeens deserves it,
He did.
and because Livy probably bribed them.
I'm also
And then-
my argument is on the batter side.
Well, you want to win. You're going up against the best pitcher the best pitcher in baseball right now. You want to show if you can put a hit, like a hurting on him. Of course you're going to try to do that. I would do the same thing. That's why Bruce Bochy has been one of the greatest managers in the history of the game. Because no matter what the scenario is, he's going to go out there. He's like, look, I know it's spring training. I know we're playing our 4A guys against you. But you know what? I'm going to beat the crap out of you. I love the competitiveness. And the edge in the All-Star game is not gone. But what I don't appreciate is that like if we're gonna have an All-Star game, have the All-Stars. The NFL doesn't do All-Pro that way.
Against the All-Star pitchers, All-Star batters, All-Star pitchers. Why are we
But
trying
I'm
to
saying
like?
is stop having. Oh, we don't have an Oakland A yet. Oh,
No, I agree with that.
We don't have a Toronto Blue Jay. There's not one Toronto Blue Jay
No, that's fair.
who deserves to be on the
I'm
All-Star
not
team.
arguing with you on that. I'm arguing.
But we had one.
I'm arguing the fact
$10 million if you could tell me who the Blue Jay was on the All-Star team.
I cannot. I cannot.
That's
Why do we care so much about rotations in the All-Star game? That's my argument. Batting rotations.
because you're trying to win. It's competition, dude.
The pitcher's still gonna.
We're still grown men.
The pitcher's not gonna throw 70-mile-per-hour fastballs. He's still gonna try, but the rotation, that's strategy. We want entertainment for the All-Star game.
Why do I still get a peek at my kids' cards during Ticket to Ride when I'm just it's just a board game because I'm trying to win.
Maybe you're cheating on your 8-year-old children.
I'm not cheating. They're flashing their cards. I'm not telling them to look at the squirrel.
You're not.
They are deciding.
Let me help
to
you,
show
kid.
their-
Let me help you.
They're deciding to show their hand. Of course, I'm going to look. We're grown men. We compete. That's what it is.
You still compete, but why would you not want the top of the All-Star list versus the top of the All-Star list? Judge being fourth was like running risky business.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
You're saying Stephen Kwan isn't worth being the top of that lineup.
I'm just saying, put
Stephen Kwan's a hitting machine.
put the best at the top of the
A
list.
hitting machine.
All-Star.
Would I have put him at the top of the lineup? No. I would have put Stephen Kwan ninth.
There you go.
I would have put Gunny first, Soto second, Judge
Yes.
third.
Yes.
I would have done it that way. But I can see an argument for putting Kwan
We
first.
want to win. A meaningless game. We don't want to put on a good show. We want to win.
Look, you drove up Skeen's pitch count to 11, okay? So
You might lose your crap.
mission accomplished.
I understand why you didn't watch the whole game. You probably lost the top of your head when you saw a pitcher get subbed out after 10 pitches.
He was throwing a no-hitter. No, I think so.
Very true.
No, hey, fun fact, this is the second no-hitter in a row that Paul Skeens got pulled for.
Oh, man. All right, enough about that. JB, I gave you some homework. Did you study?
I did not. You gave me homework 4 hours ago.
Did you study your goats and your woats?
No, but I can come up from the top of my head.
So we're gonna talk about.
I can do this.
We're gonna completely take a massive swing and whiff and change the conversation 100%.
Give me the Walcott.
Here you go.
Ooh,
There you go, buddy. So what I wanted to talk about this episode is who are your goats in the sport that includes fans, teams, and players, and who are your woats? Woats being
Okay.
everyone knows what a goat is. It is the Tom Brady of sports.
Yeah.
The woat being the worst of all time.
Yes.
So I want to talk to you about what you consider your greatest and your worst of all time.
In what sport?
The three major sports for now: basketball, baseball, football.
Oh,
Hockey
exist anymore?
exists, but in this conversation, we want to talk about the three.
Oh, because you want to have something to talk about.
You know. You want this to be a one-way conversation, or you just want to sit here and talk for 20 minutes?
I would love to hear myself talk. No, I. All right. So, what sport you want to start?
Okay, give me your go. Give me your three goats in the respective sports: baseball, football, basketball.
Okay, I will go with the two easy ones.
Okay.
Well,
I hope they're easy.
Easy in respect to the rest of the games.
They're easy.
Baseball, Willie Mays.
Okay.
I have thought Willie Mays was the best baseball player of all time, long before his death. And I've been a baseball fan my entire life.
So we already disagree.
Yeah, you're probably going to say I'm probably a Yankee. I don't know.
Babe Ruth
Yeah.
and Nolan Ryan. Come on.
No, Willie Mays. Willie Mays. And the reason I say that is because he was the first true five-tool player who did everything well. And he did it during a time where it wasn't easy for a black ball player to be in a dominated white league. It wasn't. Like, I know Jackie Robinson was there, but it's not like Jackie Robinson waved his Harry Potter wand and was like, racist abundance. And then, like, everyone was cool. Like, it was still hard, but he still played it at a high level for a long time.
I'm surprised you're not choosing Nolan Ryan. You hyped the man up.
I love
Of
Nolan
what?
Ryan.
Like 2-3 episodes ago, you hyped him up.
I love
And
Nolan
he's
Ryan.
not your goat?
I love Ted Williams.
Okay.
I love.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of baseball players you love.
My favorite defensive player of all time is Brooks Robinson.
So Nolan Ryan's not even top 3.
Top 3 of what?
Baseball goats.
This is baseball.
Yes.
The oldest sport known to man outside of hookery. Like, this is
sport.
like this. Like, no, there's no sport older. Like, this is like. It's hard. This is difficult.
It is, I know, but considering how much you hyped up Nolan Ryan, I thought he was gonna be there.
I love the crap. But he's one of my top 5 favorite pitchers of all time.
I know. I thought he was gonna be up there overall. That's what I'm
He's
saying.
probably my favorite pitcher of all
Yes,
time.
and I thought that.
A tie between him and Cy Young.
Okay, that's fair. I just figured he was gonna be up there with your goats overall.
No.
Okay, move
No.
on. Basketball.
Well, who's your favorite baseball
I just
player?
told you Nolan Ryan and Babe Ruth.
Oh, you get 2?
I can't make up my mind. I reserve the right to change my mind. That's my.
All right, then mine's Willie Mays and Nolan Ryan.
You literally sat here.
I said Willie Mays.
And then you sat here and said,
Brooks Rob. You questioned me saying that you hyped up Nolan Ryan. I thought he would be it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have many greats. My favorite defensive player of all time, just defense, is Brooks Robinson.
but you didn't have him in your top 2. That's all I was saying.
You asked me what the goat was, not who the goats are. I can give you a herd.
No,
of
you
goats.
only get at least the argument of 2.
Well, now you're changing the rules. All
Fine,
right.
choose one, and I will choose my one.
Willie Mays.
Okay, I choose Babe Ruth.
Okay, all that Nolan Ryan talk was bullcrap. Okay. All right. So let's go to
Basketball.
basketball.
On 1, 2, 3, Michael
LeBron
Jordan.
James. I'm just kidding. No. Michael Jordan.
You had to ruin it.
Michael Jordan, of course.
Good. Okay.
Of
All right,
course.
good. We're 1 for 2 as far as agreeing. You ready for football?
That was probably easiest.
Football? That one,
Dude, football's hard. That's
I think it's harder than
hard.
baseball.
Oh man,
My answer.
you have an answer for
Oh,
football?
for sure. I don't think it's as hard as you're making it seem. And I know who you think I'm thinking of, and you are correct.
Very thinking Emmett Smith. Okay, it's a Dallas Cowboy for sure.
I've not.
It ain't a Niner. Okay.
JB, come on.
What?
I go for the NFL or for football.
I know. I'm trying to think outside the box.
No, there's no outside the box here. It's the goat for a reason. You don't have to be creative with
All
it.
right, all three.
1, 2, 3. Tom
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Tom Brady. Are we good?
It's Tom
Okay.
Brady.
All right.
It's Tom Brady.
Good. So now, after all that stress, JB, let's move on to your GOAT teams. The greatest of all time as a franchise.
Okay.
Let's start with basketball. Do you have one?
It's probably the Pelicans from this year. They were pretty good.
They were mid at best. But go ahead. Go on. Zion is, it still has potential. The potential's still there for them.
He's gonna be 42. He's got potential. Dude. He's so big.
And of course,
I mean, it's honestly, it's not even hard. I'm overthinking it. It's the '90s Bulls.
the 90s, as a franchise, though, you have to choose the entire franchise.
Oh, we're not picking a
No,
time period
we
here.
talked about time periods last time.
If I'm picking a franchise, the Lakers.
Whoa.
I know you're gonna say the Celtics.
Yes, I am. I feel very strongly about, and
I feel very strongly about
you
this.
have to understand where I'm coming from, because I was a Lakers fan until LeBron got there.
Yeah.
LeBron kind of ruined the Lakers for me. But I feel like the Celtics have been more regularly well managed, regularly competitive, and they have the most championships as of a month ago.
Yeah. I feel like the lore
Sure.
behind LA is just
But that's
far
just the
greater.
lure. We'll talk about the lure and fans after we talk about franchises. Do you want to give me your baseball franchise?
The Murderers Row Yankees
Hell yeah.
of the 20s and 30s.
We just sat here and talked about how MLB is better whenever the Yankees are better.
Is there something my kids had just started watching The Sandlot,
Ooh, that's a great
and
Aren't
freaking
you proud of the
fantastic
fact that
film.
you've seen that? Considering it's
I
not.
am proud, very proud. You know, if it wasn't for the fact that I married my wife, I would be more proud. But my wife has seen less things and has heard less music lyrics than anyone on the history of the planet. She's heard less music lyrics than Stevie Wonder.
Seen less lyrics.
Or seen less movies than Stevie Wonder. Like whoever. Oh, she's heard less music lyrics than Beethoven. Like, it's like someone who's deaf, someone who's blind, has seen and heard more than my wife has in pop culture. So, I love you, babe.
Shout out.
Shout out to the wife. Doing watching The Sandlot, and James Earl Jones exchange it. Smalls has the chewed up Babe Ruth baseball from his stepdad, and James Earl Jones is like, "I'll trade you this for this," and he's like, "Yeah, but my ball was signed by Babe Ruth." He's like, "So is this one," and the rest of the 27 Yankees. When you bring up the 1927 Yankees, you are brought back to a time when baseball was not just baseball, but just like it was just there's something mystical about it. There's something mystical about the late 20s, early 30s Yankees.
Well, there's something mystical about the Yankees franchise as a whole.
There is, but and so even if they just had that, I could say there's an argument for it. And I forget, we're not doing time periods.
No, we're just doing overall.
But just across baseball, yeah, it's the Yankees. It's absolutely the Yankees.
That's fair.
Yeah.
No, yeah. And when it comes to baseball, everybody knows the pinstripes of the New York Yankees.
Everyone knows the pinstripes of the Cubs.
Nobody even knows that the Cubs rock pinstripes at any point in their lives.
Everyone knows the blue pinstripes. How dare you?
So the last one, and I know for a fact we're not going to agree with it. Football franchise. I'll give you a second
Pittsburgh Steelers.
for the same reason that you gave the last episode. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
being
they they are the staple. Like it's. I mean, that's it. I mean, it's you. The last 40 years, you have 3 head coaches. 3. That is phenomenal.
It's impressive.
It's impressive, but it speaks to the culture
Yeah,
of that franchise and why that franchise is never out of it. Ever.
true. Mine, as much as you hate it, there's good reasoning for it, but I'll make up for it later.
San Francisco 49ers.
The Dallas Cowboys. Simply for the fact that no matter what you know about football, everybody knows that they're gonna love or hate the Cowboys. But everybody knows what the hell's going on with the Cowboys. What other marquee stamp metric do you need for a GOAT organization? Then everybody knows you whether they hate you or they love you. Similar to the Yankees.
Yeah. Well, when you don yourself America's team because you flooded on early 90s Twitter.
That's true.
Like
But I mean, even if it was a marketing genius, it still did its job.
Actually, you know what's funny? So I started watching that. I don't know why, but I started watching that Dallas Cowboys cheerleader thing on Netflix.
I wouldn't even do that.
It's fascinating.
How much they
Because-
can belittle and oversimplify bodies and all that.
No, because those women choose to do that. But that's their choice. Don't take away beautiful women's power.
No, I'm just saying it's
dare
very
you.
superficial.
They choose to be superficial. That's on them. But what's interesting is how I guess in the 70s, I didn't know this, but in the 70s it was like the Cowboys were like playing football, allegedly. And then the cheerleaders from Monday Night Football, and then the owner was like, "No, we're going to make this about something else." Or was the owner or the GM? I think it was the GM, actually. We're going to make this about something else. And they focused on the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of how it came into America's team. And I thought that was kind of interesting, actually.
I mean, yeah. Historically, it's pretty interesting, but whatever. I'm not gonna watch it, and that's coming from a Cowboys fan. Speaking of fans, what is your GOAT fan base in? Choose your first one that comes to mind because
It's easy to pick my wote. I know what my wote is. The GOAT fan base?
I have 3 of them.
You know what? I have a GOAT fan base.
I have 3 of them, and one of them is an entire city, not even sports related.
No, mine's an entire city. Boston.
Okay, make your argument.
Boston, they because it's so close to Philly, and Philly hates everybody.
They do.
But Boston, it's just magical. It just is. Like Boston seems like there's just so much tragedy in Boston.
What do you mean? They have 20 championships in my lifetime.
Well, I mean, before your lifetime, they won nothing. So it's such a blue collar city.
Wait, Boston is?
Boston.
Okay.
Such a blue collar city.
More than Philly?
Yeah, more than Philly, but it's blue collar, but it's a neighborhood.
Sure.
And so everything they do together. And no other you can sing me a song from any city ever, and I won't have any idea what you're trying to get at. You start singing Sweet Caroline, I know exactly where you're from. I know exactly what's happening, and I want to be a part of it.
Fair argument. That's fair argument. Very much so. My choice is the one you just referenced, the Philly, and it's a love-hate choice for GOAT fan bases.
You just picked Philly's fan
Yes.
base, the city,
As
as the GOAT?
and understand me, I said it's a love-hate relationship with Philly fans because they are annoyingly committed, but they are annoyingly and act like they're entitled to it. And I love their passion. Philly could win a freaking putt-putt tournament, and they have to freaking butter their light posts because they don't know how to stay off of them from climbing them. But I love the passion that they show behind whatever the hell they win in that city.
That's like saying, I have the GOAT parent of all time. It's my stepmom. Yeah, she beat the crap out of me and my sisters, but she had a lot of passion.
It's love hate. Do you not? Do I have to educate you on what love hate relationships mean?
I know what it is. I know exactly what it is.
It's like they're very passionate, and I can appreciate how passionate they are. But from my perspective, I'm like, you know what? You guys need to chill out. You just, you calm down a little bit.
It's so funny you bring up Philly
Yeah.
because I have my vote.
Well, let's jump right into it. What is your vote fan base
It's a tie.
between?
Wait.
Is it Dallas Cowboys
No.
and Philly?
No.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Well, Philly is one of them.
I have my votes too.
It's Philly and LA.
Oh, nice.
They are the worst. LA.
I'm surprised you're not putting Cowboys fans as a whole.
They murder people just for wearing orange. Just because Giants fans show up at Chavez Ravine, they just murder you.
That is true. You want to hear something funny? I made my list preparation for this.
Yeah.
Vote fan bases, LA fans, Philly fans, and Cowboys specifically. Cowboys fans.
I don't honestly know any real Cowboy fans. I know you.
I hear.
I know you. Okay? I know you. What I'm getting at is that Cowboys is. Remember when everybody? Well, you don't remember this because you're not old enough.
20.
But in the 90s, okay,
Definitely don't remember the 90s.
everyone wore. You know what? No, we'll do this. In the 2000s, everyone wore Doc Martens. Okay. Do you remember Doc Martens?
Oh,
I'm not even getting close. Okay.
no, you have to.
I feel like Cowboy fans are the kids who wore starter jackets and Doc Martens. Not because they actually loved it, but because everyone else around them pretended to.
Oh, yeah.
like it. So that's what I think Cowboys.
Oh, that's
fans
exactly why I hate Cowboys fans.
Okay.
That is
All right.
100% why I hate Cowboys fans because
Okay.
they are these people that just. Cowboys fans as a whole, I consider myself separate from Cowboys fans as a whole because I am realistic. I will hate on Cowboys as an organization.
Mhm.
Cowboys fans that are only Cowboy fans on the surface, they just I don't know what it is about the Cowboys because probably they're the biggest name, but they are the shittiest, braggiest people
Yeah.
that have nothing to show when it comes to fan bases. It's annoying to me. I hate it. 100% hate it, which is also why I said love-hate relationship with Philly fan because they also are annoyingly passionate about what they do in their sport. Every sport.
Yeah. No, I hate Philly fans because they booed Santa Claus.
What do you mean?
They booed Santa Claus.
They booed?
They booed him.
Okay.
How do you boo Santa Claus?
I don't know.
I'm not even a believer in. Well, I am a believer in lore and legends because, huh?
You a believer in Santa Claus?
I believe in Santa Claus because I have 5 kids under the age of 12. So
that's what you hate about them?
They're just obnoxious.
They are.
That's
But
why I loved Bryce Harper going to Philly because he fits. But I love Bryce Harper.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong, Bryce. I know you listen to Box Scores and Bourbon. don't take this the wrong way. Come on our pod. I love Bryce, okay? But there's something about Bryce Harper that just screams, you belong in
does.
Philly.
He fits the
Which is
persona.
why when people talk about Mike Trout going to Philly, I'm like, they're going to hurt his feelings. Like, Mike Trout's
They
going to
might stomp.
So,
They might not care who he is. They might stomp on him.
I think that's why he has no trade clause. Like, please don't take me to Philly. I know it's close to home.
I
really
won't
don't want to
survive
go
out
back.
there, guys. Very true.
And then the Laker fans, man. We're talking about burning cars. Why are you burning
That's why I
cars?
put LA fans as a whole.
To me, they're the absolute worst.
There's three major sports in LA: baseball, basketball, football. They don't really care about the LA Kings. Let's be honest.
They don't, but when they win, they'll
sure
burn
they
your
will.
car.
But all three of the fan bases are like so distinct from each other, but they're all equally crappy because of what type of fan base they are. LA basketball fans act entitled, like they should win the championship every single year. I guess very similar to baseball.
Yeah.
But football, they're just like they just want like the attention behind their football team. They don't really care what happens to the LA Rams. I'm pretty sure 80% of the fans don't even know that the LA Rams are part of, or the Chargers are part of LA anymore. They just want the attention behind the flashiest name behind the sport. So overall, I just don't like LA fans as a whole. Do you?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I'm not. I just like just as a whole. I feel like they're just so angry because they still live in California that they're like, well, I can't move because my job sucks.
They can't
and
afford happiness.
I only make enough money to live in a home, and I wasn't smart enough to understand that I can drive my house to work, but I can't. But I can live in my car, but I can't drive my house.
Yeah,
to
no,
work. So they're just angry because they're really dumb, and so because they live there.
LA people don't really. They can't afford happiness. Their money goes to their rent, so they can't afford.
The taxes are way too high to be happy, and so you actually have to pay a tax on smiling.
That's right.
And so they, you actually get a tax break for burning people's Honda Accords. And so I can't stand LA. They're just the worst. The absolute
True story.
worst.
Yeah. So last but not least, do you have a vote when it comes to specific players? Big time busts. Because I have my three. And
For each sport?
I have two NBA and one NFL. I don't have a. It's easy to go under the radar when it comes to baseball for like being a bust because they just relegate you to like AAA, AA, single A, and then you can just like it's like a forgotten thought. But in NBA and NFL, it's like a big hype you talk.
Oh, I have one for baseball.
I'm curious to hear it because I do not.
So let's go backwards. For football, Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, it's easy.
Like, and I could go back and forth and say Ryan Leaf, but Ryan Leaf actually had an excuse. He had the Ingrid Andress excuse. He was drunk all the time. So Jamarcus Russell was just so bad.
He was bad.
He was so fat.
He was.
He just didn't care. He was the Raider way. He was like, give me my money, and I'm going to show up to work until you say you're fired. That's it. Who's your?
That's mine. For
Marcus.
Easy.
Nice.
I recently saw a report that he was like being indicted for like fraud. How fitting is it for Jamarcus Russell to be getting indicted for some? So I can't remember the exact details, but it's along the lines of fraud.
The only thing I can think Jamarcus Russell going to be indicted for fraud is bouncing checks at Church's Chicken. Like
probably something very close. Bounce checks at Dollar Tree is what he.
So bad. I have my NBA one.
Let me hear it.
It's Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons. was like
Yeah.
my honorable mention because I put two.
It's so nice to be Waller Richard for being the worst
He
of all
was barely
time.
good enough.
You made the honors class for being so
It's
bad.
honest. It's honestly a wishy-washy between him and the other guy that I have on there.
Who'd you have?
Let me look at my two because I have Marco Fultz and Greg Oden.
I wouldn't put Greg
Why
Oden on
not?
there. He was just always
Well,
hurt.
he still was the first overall pick with KD being second right there.
I get it, but he was always
I
hurt.
understand that. It's not it's not the organization's
It's not his fault.
in a way it might be. I mean, as a whole, I'm just saying
He was born.
as
Seven.
a hindsight thing, like it's easy to be like,
Yeah.
well, we should have taken KD.
I could say I could agree with you. Would say Markel Fultz.
And even then, that was the wishy-washy.
I can agree with you there. Who drafted Greg Oden?
The Toronto. Was it Toronto?
Was it Toronto? I don't think
pretty
so. I think it was an Eastern. Wait, it was an Eastern Conference team, but I don't think it was Toronto.
I want to say it was Toronto. It seems like I feel
Trailblazers.
Same.
That's
Red
who
and
it
black
was. It wasn't
logo.
even Eastern Conference.
Whatever.
I was wrong.
It's
Too.
whatever. It could have been the deciding moment for the Trailblazers as a franchise.
Maybe he just decided to get hurt because he was playing for
Well, Portland hasn't done crap since then.
Portland.
But just the simple fact that KD dominating has two we won't even get into the two championships.
We're talking about Woats, okay?
But he has two
So-
championships.
He won nothing with the team that drafted him, so he's a Woat. He's a Woat because he's a mercenary. He's like
Who
Jason
cares?
Statham out there.
Are you hating on Baker Mayfield because he's a mercenary? No.
I don't think about Baker Mayfield.
I'm just saying, KD, I don't hate on him for moving organizationally. But Michael Fultz,
Markel Fultz, I can
but
get
he's the
behind.
one that I'm wishy-washy on. Because
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
he was with Orlando this season. And
Yeah.
he like revitalized his career as being a really good role
Yeah.
player. Which is there's nothing wrong with becoming like finding your own. He's not a starter, but he's like a dominant role player. So he's the one that I was wishy-washy with your Ben Simmons.
I say Ben Simmons because that dude chooses to be hurt. He just decides.
His back has been broken for 5 years.
I'm hurt. I'm hurt. If it wasn't for Kyrie in his rebirth in Dallas, Kyrie would have been on my list.
Dang.
But Ben Simmons is he would have been Kyrie would have been on my list like as a distant second. Ben Simmons is firmly holding the post at first. Firmly holding
It's
it.
hard to argue.
And it's personal really because he went to LSU and I'm like he just brings great shame. This is the only time I'm related to Mulan is because he brings great shame to me and my family. And I don't appreciate it at all.
Fair. That's fair.
But he's also Australian, which explains his weakness. So I mean I kind of get it because Australians are kind of weak just as a people.
Where is this? Is this like common known information? I've never heard this before.
Have you ever seen the Australian Alone? You ever seen Alone, the show? Where like the experienced woodsmen go out in the woods
In Australia?
and it's just all over the world. Australia had one, and it's comical in a way they never intended it to be. This is a country where spiders fall from the sky, and these are the weakest people I've ever seen in my life. So I'm not surprised, but it just brings great shame upon me and my family.
That's fair.
Yeah. So who's the last? Is it football? No, baseball.
Yeah, I don't have a vote for baseball. I just give them the benefit of the draft. There's like what? How many rounds is there in freaking?
There's
Yeah,
20 now. There used to be 40.
Crazy. That's why I'm like,
You got 5 baseball teams you got to field.
I understand that.
You can't just go to like the Home Depot, like you're building a house. Who wants to play baseball?
Well, I mean, they pretty much,
Who just came off the boat from
but
Cuba?
they pretty much do that because there's 20 rounds, and most of the players you're drafting, you're not expecting to make it all the way up.
You're not.
Well, how would I have a vote?
You make some
Who's your
bets.
vote?
For baseball?
You said you had one.
Did I have one
That's
for
what you said.
baseball?
Your words, not mine. Do you have one? If not, we'll move on. No,
You don't have one
for
for
sure.
baseball?
No.
Oh, I did have
That's
one.
what you said.
Wander Franco, the shortstop for the Tampa
Well,
Rays, former shortstop for Tampa Rays. So he got extended for an 11-year, almost near $200 million contract, and then was like, "Hey, you're 14. You look cute."
Oh,
Yeah,
that
that guy. Yeah, he's the
He is
worst.
the worst.
He's the absolute worst.
He also just got indicted for it.
He did, and so did that little girl's mom. Yeah, so he's the worst.
That's not. That's like
By far.
way like left field from the like mindset that I had, but that makes him a pretty shitty person.
I've been meaning to talk about that guy for weeks, but when you mentioned Walt, I was like, "Oh, I got one." It's
It is.
disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting, and it makes it worse that the mom was a part of it. And it's this man and this woman. I don't even worry about prison time. Just straight to the gallows.
Well, she's in
Like,
Dominican Republic, right?
they both
Well,
are.
he was part of the American team.
Yeah, well, no, he got
Right.
sent back to Dominican Republic. He's not now. He's on the restricted list for the Rays. He's not even allowed back on the
Shouldn't
team.
be allowed back on the country.
Well, now the Rays should get every penny back from that contract because MLB is the only sport where you guarantee every penny. So
They should get everything back. I'm not well versed on the Dominican Republic's laws. It might be a thing that they're just
no, it seems
It is serious.
Well, it is serious. I'm talking about in the DR. In the DR, it seems like a real
I would
serious
think
thing.
so.
So yeah, I would
He's
hope
what,
so.
like 30. She was 14.
He was 20. He was 19.
No.
He's 20. He's not
He
old.
looks old.
He's young.
I don't track his age.
He
Yeah.
looks old. Well, because I don't know. You remember Benchwarmers when he wrote on green crayon, I am 12. Like,
Here's my ID.
maybe Franco is 30, but he wrote in green
Well, either
crayon,
way,
I am
no,
12.
I see where you're coming from.
Either way, he's the
Yes,
worst.
I agree. That's not very.
Yeah.
That's for
Yeah.
sure. Recently, I don't know if there's like
Yeah.
similar stories, but yeah, for now, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on.
To your favorite segment. What is your favorite segment, JB? Mount Rush.
Mount Rushmore.
That is your
Right.
favorite segment. You're right.
You guessed
You are
correct.
sir.
You are the goat at knowing your favorite
You know
segment.
your stuff very well. Are you ready?
I am
Spin the
ready.
wheel for you. Ready? Oh,
What happened? What happened, Vanna?
JB. Give me your number.
22.
Your number 22 gives you your GOAT franchise of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Is it that hard?
It's very difficult.
Is it?
This is one of the best franchises of all
That
time.
is true.
Has some of the greatest players of all time. I could easily name, right off the top of my head, 8 players who deserve to be on that Mount Rushmore.
Double-headed.
But since we all can't be Siamese twins,
We can't be cat dog.
can't be walking around with like Greg Kinnear and Matt Damon. I'm gonna choose 4 people.
No.
And I'm gonna preface.
I'm sorry.
What do you mean no?
I don't know why I said no. The Mount Rushmore is 4 people.
No.
You will not. I will choose one for you.
What? You said I could have chicken nuggets. I'm gonna choose 4 people, but I'm gonna preface it with the players that I believe should be on there as well, or could be.
Or
Okay?
like an honorable mentions thing.
Oh yeah. So when you have arguably the best center that's ever played the game in Mike Webster, he deserves to
Okay.
be on there. when you have one of the greatest linebackers of all time in Jack
Okay.
Ham. He deserves to be on there. When you have Rod Woodson, there's an argument for him
But these are
to
all
be on
honorable
there.
mentions.
These are all honorable
Crazy.
mentions. All honorable mentions.
That's crazy stuff, JB.
And the greatest honorable mention, and I mean honorable mention, I mean like this honorable mention is photobombing the Mount Rushmore right
Okay.
now. Jack Lambert. Okay?
Mm.
You probably never heard of these people.
Which ones?
All
The
of
ones
them.
that you just said?
Except Rod Woodson. But all these players played for the Steelers during their heyday. In the 70s and the 80s when they won their 4 Super Bowls. I could even make a case for Jerome Bettis. I can make a case for John Stallworth to make the Mount Rushmore. But here are my 4 in no particular order. I'm going to go with Terry Bradshaw.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to go with the face of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Franco Harris. The image of the immaculate reception comes to mind in his rookie year when he does this. I'm gonna go with Mel Blount. Mel Blount is what every single defensive back should aim to be. They should
You say this
aspire.
about every defensive back.
No. I'm talking about a defensive back. When I talked about Ronnie Lott last week, no doubt there was a part of him that was like, I want to be like Mel
That's
Blount. And true story, blunt force trauma came from
That's
him.
not. I'm sorry.
He would drill and annihilate the crap out of you as if you were made of pixels. He didn't care if he was on the line. And I just watching footage of this guy just obliterate the dude. As I was growing up, I'm like, man, I don't want to piss off that man because he's gonna kill me. Like the Mel Blount, he was so fierce. So Bradshaw, Franco Harris, Mel Blount, and Mean Joe Green. And the reason I left off Jack Ham and Jack Lambert.
And
Well, no. Well, Roethlisberger doesn't come close. If I was talking about Harley Davidson guys, then but the reason I left off Jack Ham and Jack Lambert is because Jack Ham and Jack they were great in their own sense, and they were phenomenal ball players. But they got most of their opportunities from the fact that Mean Joe Green had to be double teamed all the time. So, and like I said, I can make the case for Art Rooney. I can make the case for Chuck Noll.
Yep.
I can make the case for Bill Cowher. I can make the case for Mike Tomlin to be on the Steelers. That's how storied this franchise is. It's hard.
to argue it.
It's hard. They get so storied. Ben Roethlisberger falls maybe number 20. Maybe number 20.
Maybe breaks the 20.
Maybe.
I mean, I can't argue with that. They do have.
It's difficult. It's hard. It's hard.
An epitome of consistency and relevance that comes with the Steelers. At least if the bar is relevance, the Steelers are way above that.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue with that.
Yeah. Let's roll for you.
Roll for me.
Mm-hmm.
KJB, my number is number 12.
Ooh. I'm trying to come up with a smart aleck answer, but I can't. It's the Cowboys. You have the Dallas Cowboys. Congratulations, you got off scot-free.
My beloved Cowboys. There's nobody better to make the Mount Rushmore than me, because you would put. I don't even know who you would put on there.
You know what? I think you underestimate me. I'm a sports fan,
but I feel like you just don't like the Cowboys as a whole. So you would put some layman's terms, man. Let me just jump right into it.
I'm not gonna make a Bobby Brown joke. Okay, go ahead.
Number one, Roger Staubach. So this is actually a very easy list for me. Roger Staubach helped them win their first. He helped them win 2 Super Bowls. Helped them win their first Super Bowl in 71. Yeah.
71.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a story about Roger Staubach actually. I have a story about him actually. But
Okay.
continue.
Number two, the fellow that helped him win the a Super Bowl, Bob Lilly. He was
Okay.
the first ever draft pick of the Dallas Cowboys, first ever inducted into the Ring of Honor, first Cowboy inducted into the Hall of Fame. So he was himself named Mr. Cowboy.
Yeah. Oh, boy, I think it was Mr. Niner.
That's
Yeah.
what they called it. I'm pretty sure his nickname was Mr. Cowboy. And the last two are also ones that work together. Emmett Smith, all-time rushing leader, not hard to,
Mhm.
and
Jason Campbell.
not chasing. Jason Campbell. Who is that one quarterback that helped them win 3 Super Bowls in the 90s?
Hmm.
No,
Yeah, it wasn't Dak
want
Prescott.
to say his name.
I'm trying to think of the backup they had,
Do
so I can
not
say
say
that.
his
but I can't.
backup. I want you to say his name, JB. Troy.
Troy
Yes,
Aikman.
there you go. So those are my 4, and it is not really that hard to choose them. Complaints? I don't even have an honorable mention. Well,
I have a
no, I don't
complaint.
have an honorable mention.
I have a complaint. Dallas Cowboys. That's my complaint.
Okay.
I don't. It's. Oh my goodness. As much as I hate the moniker America's team,
Nobody else.
we're so obese in this country. How come the Browns aren't? We go to the bathroom enough. So what I don't. It's hard to argue. I don't know. You can go Larry
You
Allen.
could.
You can go. Who was that?
You go. But then
Didn't Tony Dorsett play for
Yeah.
you guys?
you can
You
either go.
can go Tom
Yeah, I was
Landry.
gonna say you could go the coach.
Go
You could
Jerry
go the-
Jones.
no.
Not Jerry Jones. Who was the head coach?
Jimmy
The
Johnson.
one that just died.
He didn't just die. I don't know what you got.
Jimmy Johnson did die. He's dead
JP.
as a bag of rocks. Jimmy
Do
Johnson's
not
dead.
say that to. If this is
I'm fairly certain he died like a couple months
JB,
ago.
if Jimmy Johnson is dead, I'm about to start.
I think he's dead.
He is not dead, JB. No, I would have been tracking that. He just made it into the Ring of Honor this year. You can't
All right.
die.
He didn't die. Terry Bradshaw sat on him. Okay. No. I mean, you can go anyway. The story I had for Roger Staubach was he's infamous for saying because him and Archie Manning got drafted in the same draft. And he said that if the roles were reversed and Archie Manning played for Dallas, I played for New Orleans, Archie Manning would be in the Hall of Fame right now.
So you're
But then I'm like, I don't know. Archie never threw to a black man, so I don't. Maybe not. I don't
maybe
know.
he had something against it. We'll never know.
Archie was famous for that, for not throwing to black receivers. So I'm like,
Michael
okay,
Irvin would
well,
not be in the Hall of Fame.
Dallas seemed more segregated. I don't know.
That I've never heard that. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You want to go over the schedules real quick?
Let's go over the schedules
JB, you're
real
up
quick.
first.
Let's
You
do
ready?
it. I am just about ready.
You get the Pittsburgh Steelers schedule, so let's jump right in. Because week 1,
Okay.
you will be going to your second favorite team and visiting the Atlanta Falcons.
Ooh, okay. Let's see. I'd say that is a W for
Okay,
Pittsburgh.
that's fair. Week 2, you visit the Broncos.
Not a W for Pittsburgh.
Week 3, you host the Chargers.
A W
3
for
and
Pittsburgh.
0 Pittsburgh with
Yeah.
Russell Wilson as their starting quarterback. Interesting. Week 4, you go to the Colts.
L.
Okay. Week 5, you host the Dallas Cowboys.
L.
I'm flabbergasted that you're choosing the Cowboys to win that.
You're flabbergasted or
No, I'm
flattered?
flabbergasted. I did not expect you to choose them. Week 6, they go to Las Vegas and play the Raiders.
L.
Dang, so much for 3 and 0. They're 3 and 3.
Good thing they 33 now.
Week 7, they host the Jets.
W.
Week 8, they host the Giants.
W.
Week 9, they're on a bye week, and week 10,
W. On their bye week.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Week 10, they will go visit the Washington Commanders.
L. So they're 5 and
They
4
are
right now.
losing to the Commanders.
Yep. They're losing to the Redskins. Yep.
Commanders. Week 11, they host the Ravens.
L. 5 and 5.
Dang. Week 12, they visit the Cleveland Browns.
W. 6 and 5.
Week 13, they visit the Bengals.
L. 6 and 6.
Week 14, they go back and host the Cleveland Browns.
W. 7 and 6.
Week 15, they will visit the Eagles.
W. 8 and 6.
Week 16, they will visit the Ravens.
L. 8 and 7.
Week 17, they host the Super Bowl winning on their way to a three-peat Chiefs.
W.
For the Steelers.
9 and 7.
And they finish off week 18 by hosting the Bengals.
L. 9 and 8.
As much as I want to hate on the specifics of your picks, I can't hate on the record. This makes sense.
It makes sense. Okay, so let's see who you got. So you had, what was that scrub team?
America's
that
team.
was okay.
Yeah,
America's team. Oh, the Saints. Are you at the Saints? Let's see. Okay. Week 1 at Cleveland.
Starting off with the hard one, huh? Good Cowboys win.
Okay, I want to know. Host New Orleans.
Cowboys win. You're welcome, JB.
All right, 2-0. Host Baltimore.
They'll lose.
2-1. At the Giants.
Win. Yep.
3-1. At Pittsburgh.
You picked Pittsburgh to lose. I also picked Pittsburgh to lose.
Okay, 4-1. Host Detroit.
I think Detroit beats them.
All right, 4-2. Week 8, the bye week 7. Week 8, they're 4-2 at San Francisco.
We already know. They don't know how to deal with San Francisco. They haven't beat them.
Not in the
They
playoffs.
haven't beat them ever. I haven't beat them since before I was
All right,
born.
4-3. Okay, at
They'll beat
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
5-3. Host Philly.
They host Philly. That means they'll lose to Philly.
5-4. They host Houston, your favorite
My
team in the
second favorite
world.
team in the world right now. I'll say that
All right, 6-4. At the Skins.
the Commanders.
Oh, you almost said Skins. Nice. All right, so close. All right, 7-4. Host the Giants.
They'll sweep the Giants for sure.
8-4. Host
They'll
Cincinnati.
lose to Cincinnati.
All 8-5.
Yep.
All right. At Carolina.
They'll beat Carolina. Come on.
9-5. Host Tampa.
They'll beat
Baker's favorite
Tampa.
quarterback. Remember?
No. Fifth, top 5 in the NFC.
Tampa wins.
They'll beat Tampa.
So 10-5. Okay. At Philly.
They'll beat Philly.
11-5. They
They'll
host the
probably
Skins.
lose that one just for no reason.
So 11-6.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
As much I've sat here many times, many weeks, and said I have no hope for the Cowboys, but their schedule lines up for them to actually, do what they do every year: win the regular season and do squat in the playoffs. So it's not
Yeah.
unreasonable. I'm
It's
giving
not.
them one less win than last year, which is, by the Cowboys' definition, the end of the world.
Yeah. Well, it's the end of the road for them too, because they're not going to go any further.
They'll probably face off
Yeah.
with the Niners in the first round and get demolished. Instead of the Packers, they'll face the Niners.
Yeah.
All right, that does it for that segment. Lastly, but not leastly. Is that a word?
That is, there was no more perfect saying than lastly but not leastly.
JB, it's time for my
That's my favorite saying.
favorite segment. It is time for our fix of six. You ready to go?
I'm ready. You kick us off.
Kick it off. Number 3. JB's favorite take. Jalen Brunson has chosen to lose out on $112 million in his contract. The reason why I'm saying he's chosen to miss out on it is because he did this to bring in another all-star caliber player. And guess what they've done so far? Not bring in that all-star caliber player. So yeah, he is losing out on $112 million because they are not doing. The Knicks are not going to bring anybody in. They're not going to trade any other pieces, and they're not going to sign a free agent because all the free agents are gone. So that is my number 3. Manny's number 2 fix of 6. The Home Run Derby national anthem was one of the all-time worst of all time. Miss Ingrid Andress slaughtered that worse than Fergie could have ever done, even if she was trying to slaughter it.
So bad.
It was my ears hurt after hearing that. And here's the catch to it. And I have a hard time bashing her because she acknowledged her fault. But she
That makes
made
it
a
worse.
post and she said, and I quote, "I'm not going to bullshit, y'all. I was drunk last night. I'm checking myself into the facility today to get some help that I need." So I don't know what you want to make out of it, but she somehow got
I've got plenty to make out of it.
wasted right before she had the moment of probably her lifetime. I've never heard of her, so she probably was on the up and up, and she was drunk doing it, and she can't even fake the fact that she wasn't
Yeah.
drunk. So that's my number 2. And my number 1, JB, Caitlin Clark has set the WNBA record for most assists in the game with 19.
With
19. My point is not Caitlin Clark has set the NBA record for assists as a rookie. My point is that I wonder what the USA women's basketball team is feeling right now, considering the fact that they did not choose her to be part of the USA team. I feel like at the moment where they were choosing the women's national basketball team, they thought she was too young, and now they might be having some buyer's remorse or non-buyer's remorse because she's going into
No, they're just
dominating the league. There's people in Japan that are wearing Caitlin Clark's jersey and they don't even know what the WNBA is.
they're just being women and being jealous of another woman being successful. That's all it
Whatever you want to
is.
call it, Jay.
That's all it
Set the
is.
WNBA record, and it's going to be the worst decision for the USA women's national team.
Congratulations to her, and we will say goodbye to that record next week when it is broken again.
JB, you're up.
JB's fix of 6 is Brian Kelly is starting to show up in the recruiting class for LSU. One of the biggest remarks about Brian Kelly when he left Notre Dame was, can he handle recruiting at LSU? Well, guess what? He has proven in year 3 that he can. And before you say, it took 3 years, JB, just remember, from the onset, I have said that it wasn't until year 3 that everything was going to begin. Year 1 screwed everything up, set up for massive failure and disappointment in year 2. Year 3 was going to be the year where everything was going to step up and be proven that Brian Kelly had what it takes. But picking DJ Pickett from Southern Florida to the number 6 prospect in the 2025 class, the number 2 corner to come to LSU over Florida is huge and in the right direction. And if I'm not mistaken, they have 17 prospects from the 2025 class, and all but 2 are blue chip prospects. So that brings Brian Kelly's class to number 4 nationally, and I have no doubt that it's going to continue going up. JB's number 2 fix of 6 is I'm sorry, but did you not know Nick Saban ruled college football for 20 years? How on earth does Nick Saban get turned away at SEC Media Days because he doesn't have the right credentials? Jake Crane of Crane and Company said it right. The dude's a walking credential. He doesn't need anything for the rest of his life. He has a face, and we've all seen the face. The only thing that can be said about this guy that turned him away is he's purely an Auburn fan. I mean, that's really the only reason he got turned away. But honest to goodness, turning away Nick Saban from SEC Media Days is just a joke. And I'm surprised that this guy's body is still moving around planet Earth right now and not mysteriously lost and not found at the moment. JB's number 1 fix of 6 is congratulations, MLB. You have come this much closer to fixing the MLB Home Run Derby. I love the first round of that derby. First, let me backtrack. I hate the fact that you have some random Zoomer just because he's bilingual is able to introduce all the ball players to come on stand on the stupid stars. I don't need that. All I need is the ball players to come out and actually hit the baseball. But you got it right in the fact that you got rid of the head-to-heads in the first round. I'm tired of seeing the guy lose with 25 homers and to be able to see a guy who hit 13 go to the second round. I appreciate that. You have one more thing to do. Get rid of head-to-heads in the second round. Let's do the top 4 players. Let's do the top 2 home run hitters, and then get to the final round. And then there we go. And then we have the 2 best hitters. This year, it worked out because it ended on a fly ball hitting the wall in order to prevent a tie. I thought it was fantastic. Congratulations to Teoscar Hernandez for not only winning their home run derby, but being the first Dodger ever to win the home run derby. And for Bobby Wood Jr. for showing the world, I'm here. You best be ready for me. And that is JB Manny's 56.
JB, I love your takes. I don't agree with your second round non-bracketed system.
No, of course, no, because you have to
No,
disagree with me.
that is why I'm here. That is the sole purpose why I'm here to disagree with every take, every single take that you have. I have to disagree with. That is my sole purpose.
I disagree with my spouse. I disagree with you.
Well, everyone, that is today's episode of Box Scores and Bourbon. JB, we are finishing up our glasses ish.
Yes,
We're
glasses.
gonna review the bottle that we've been
Yeah.
drinking, which, for those of y'all that forgot, is special release Volcott 90 proof. We are reviewing the full glass worth of it. JB, what is your take on your drink?
I very much enjoyed it. I don't drink it with ice. I don't drink it on the rocks. I drink most, if not all, of my drinks
true.
neat. This was 90 proof. It went down very smooth, very enjoyable. I could definitely get down with this another time.
Out of 10?
I could drink 10 bottles of this.
Rating out of 10.
I give it a 7.
7. I would also give it a 7. I like drinking mine on the rocks.
Yeah.
And the first glass, I drank 2 glasses of it. The first glass
Yeah.
was on the rocks, and it was watering it down too much. It's like this bottle is right on the cusp of being good
Yeah.
by itself. So a little bit of
Mhm.
ice kind of ruined that. But once I poured a second glass and it was just neat, no ice, no water down,
Yeah.
it went down really nice. It was very
Yeah.
smooth. So I agree with you
Mhm.
on that. And my rating out of 10 would also be a 7 out of that.
Look at us
Finally.
agreeing.
It only took 2 hours.
We're not Philly or LA fans. That's- We'd be murdered. We'd murder each other. Thanks, folks, for tuning in. We will be very interested to hear ourselves, the reverb from each of our mics from this episode. If whether or not we probably should have given disclosure at the beginning of the pod.
Probably been a good idea.
um, but thanks for joining us. Listen to us on Spotify. Watch us on YouTube, Box Scores and Bourbon. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram, BSB Sports 24. We will have I released a special announcement about fantasy football. If you guys are interested in joining, please comment on the TikTok. Let us know if you'd like to join. So far, we have 6 slots left. So they're going fast. I'm told that that's a industry phrase for getting people to do it quickly. But we have 6 slots left. Join us. It'd be we're looking forward to doing this league if we can get enough people. And follow us, subscribe, Spotify and YouTube. We're looking to reach out 100 subscribers, 100 followers by the end of 2024. Manny?
Nothing else to add. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you on the other side. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, folks.